Not unless African will wake up from slumber, we will never get out of this imperialism from the Western countries. Just listen to these statements from these videos that I have shared with you. It's so sad that Africa is blessed with minerals and people that languish in poverty. Only Botswana made it from their diamonds apart from South Africa. You are watching Joseph TV show, the place to be.
Botswana government owns 50% of diamond in Botswana, not in Switzerland, not the very far. Yeah, stone throw away here. By the same company called DBS, which owns diamond in South Africa. It's refusing to give a government of South Africa 50%, but it can give the government of Botswana 50%. Why?
Not defeat North Sudan. South Sudan did not defeat North Sudan or Sudan in a tribal battle. It was a U.S. project. I would go often to Nairobi and meet U.S. military or senators or others with deep interests in Sudan's politics. This was part of the game of unipolarity. So the NATO enlargement, as you know, started in 1999 with Hungary, Poland, and the Czech Republic. And Russia was extremely unhappy about it. But these were countries still far from the border. And Russia protested, but of course to no avail. Then George Bush Jr. came in. When 9/11 occurred, President Putin pledged all support. And then the U.S. decided in September 20th, 2001, that it would launch 7 wars in 5 years. And you can listen to General Wesley Clark online talk about that. He was NATO's supreme commander in 1999. He went to the Pentagon on September 20th, 2001. He was handed the paper explaining 7 wars. These, by the way, were Netanyahu's wars. The idea was partly to clean up old Soviet allies and partly to take out supporters of Hamas and Hezbollah. Because Netanyahu's idea was there will be one state, thank you, only one state. It will be Israel. Israel will control all of the territory. And anyone that objects, we will overthrow. Not we exactly, our friend, the United States. That's U.S. policy until this morning. We don't know whether it will change. Now, the only wrinkle is that maybe the U.S. will own Gaza instead of Israel owning Gaza. But the idea has been around at least for 25 years. It actually goes back to a document called Clean Break that Netanyahu and his American political team put together in 1996 to end the idea of the two-state solution. Also find it online. So these are projects. These are long-term events. These aren't, is it Clinton? Is it Bush? Is it Obama? That's the boring way to look at American politics, as the day-to-day game, but that's not what American politics is. So the next round of NATO enlargement came in 2004 with 7 more countries, the 3 Baltic states, Romania, Bulgaria, Slovenia, and Slovakia. At this point, Russia was pretty damn upset. This was a complete violation of the post-war order agreed with German reunification. Essentially, it was a fundamental trick or defection of the U.S. from a cooperative arrangement, is what it amounted to, because they believe in unipolarity. South Sudan did not defeat North Sudan.
A huge deposit of cobalt was discovered in Mali just over 2 years ago. Back then, we approached the Malian government about mining rights. They told us that those rights were going to the Chinese. So we set about to create the conditions to make sure that. Just last week, one of our Australian subsidiaries, thank you, Lachlan, secured those rights. Our pilot project in Mali hit a few bumps, that it worked. And if it can work there, there's no reason it can't work in other mineral-rich countries across Africa. We create the chaos, and then we move in and capitalize on that chaos. We're looking at the long term here, gentlemen. Rates of return that'll make Iraq and Afghanistan look like chicken feed.
Botswana government owns 50% of diamond in Botswana, not in Switzerland, not the verified. Yeah, stone throw away here by the same company called DBS, which owns diamond in South Africa. It's refusing to give a government of South Africa 50%, but it can give the government of Botswana 50%. Why? What different? What kind of policies that where you say? Because you must say, I don't engage in such policies. They can't say that. Botswana government takes Botswana's children to the best schools in the world and give them a stipend. When I met the Botswana student in Washington, each one of them was getting 15,000 rands of stipend. My mother died a domestic worker. She never got more than 3,000. A student, because of the minerals of his or her country, she's able to get free education and still be paid for going to school. So we want to use our minerals because...
So as you know, Africa is the biggest producer of diamonds in the whole entire world, of which Botswana is the leading country of diamonds in the whole entire world. Now, Botswana has an agreement or contract with De Beers. And this contract expired last year, but was extended to this year, June, due to negotiations. Botswana is pushing to get 50% of the value of the diamonds that De Beers has previously, in the previous contract, only given them 25%. In fact, actually prior to that agreement, they were only getting 10%. And Botswana's president says that they are in a very good position to negotiate for 50%. And yes, rightfully so. It is their diamonds. It is their diamonds. So I just read in an article that the president of Botswana says that if they do not come to the table on the 50-50 split, they are willing to walk. I like it for us. I do. I like the fact that Africa has gotten to a point where we have decided that we need to take back our power. You cannot be sitting with all the minerals in the world and yet your country is suffering. Makes no sense. But anyway, so well done to the president of Botswana for putting his foot down and making it known that at the end of the day, they're willing to walk. If you're not willing to come to the table, they will walk and take their diamonds elsewhere. The moment other African countries can start doing the same thing, it's like with Ghana. Ghana did the same thing when it came to cocoa. They said, if you're not willing to come to the table, then we will walk.